2025 has already seen millions of records stolen, banks held hostage for millions in bitcoins, and entire airports brought to a standstill by hackers. In this video, we are counting down the 10 most shocking cyber attacks of 2025. The ones that made headlines, rattled governments, and exposed the vulnerabilities of even the biggest organizations. Welcome to Ini Cyber. I'm Ini, and this is your inside look at the biggest digital disasters in the year. For the first attack, let's take a trip to Iran. In March, Iranian state-owned bank Sepah faced one of the boldest cyber attacks of the year. Hacker group called Code Breakers claimed they stole 42 million records, about 12 terabytes of data, and demanded a jaw-dropping 42 million in Bitcoin. That's literally $1 per record. To make it worse, they threatened to leak the data if the bank didn't pay. For millions of Iranian citizens, this meant their personal and financial data could now be floating around the dark web. Credit cards, national IDs, and much more. As of now, Iran hasn't confirmed paying the ransom, and security experts believe the stolen data is already circulating online. Still in March, Oracle, one of the biggest cloud providers of the planet, suffered a breach where hackers exfiltrated about 6 million records from its cloud environment. Imagine trusting the cloud for security and then finding out the cloud itself has been hacked. The data belonged to many businesses hosted on Oracle's platform, meaning this wasn't just one company hit, it was a chain reaction across industries. The current state is that Oracle patched the vulnerability, but many businesses are still dealing with cleanup and regulatory fines. In April, even the Ivy League wasn't safe. Yale's health system was hit with a massive data exposure. About 5.5 million patient records were compromised. We are talking medical histories, personal IDs, and insurance data, the kind of information that can be exploited for identity theft or insurance fraud. The impact is that hospitals and universities are often prime targets because their systems balance research, healthcare, and student data, a gold mine for hackers. Right now, Yale is facing lawsuits and is working with the FBI to track down the attackers. In May, we saw a wave of attacks in the UK retail sector. Giants like Marks and Spencer, Harrods, and Co-op all reported breaches. For example, Co-op confirmed that hackers accessed internal employee accounts and tried to manipulate payments. Retail breaches don't just risk customer data, they disrupt entire supply chain and shake public trust in household brands. Right now, the UK authorities are still investigating, but this looks like part of a broader campaign targeting retailers. In June, food distribution giant United Natural Foods, the backbone supplier for stores like Whole Foods, was hit with a cyber attack that disrupted deliveries nationwide. Imagine going grocery shopping and the shelves are empty, not because of supply shortage, but because of hackers. Retailers across the country scrambled, and the incident highlighted just how fragile our food supply chains can be when tech is involved. Right now, the organization managed to restore operations within days, but the financial loss was massive, and investigations are ongoing. In July, we saw one of the scariest breaches of the year. Chinese-linked hackers allegedly broke into the US National Guard systems, stealing network configuration data. This wasn't about money, this was pure espionage. While no classified documents were confirmed stolen, the hackers gained insight into critical infrastructure, raising alarms about future military risk. The Pentagon has increased cybersecurity measures, but the breach exposed just how vulnerable even military systems can be. Also in July, attackers exploited a zero-day vulnerability in Microsoft SharePoint. Universities, government agencies, and businesses worldwide were targeted. The exploit allowed hackers to gain full control over servers, basically a skeleton key to SharePoint. The impact is, since SharePoint is used for file sharing and collaboration, sensitive corporate and government documents may already be in the wrong hands. Right now, Microsoft has since patched the flaw, but only after weeks of exposure. In August, a social engineering attack gave hackers access to Salesforce CRMS used by giants like Google. By tricking employees at third-party vendors, the attackers bypassed security and gained access to sensitive CRM data. This exposed not just Google data, but also customer data for multiple other businesses tied to Salesforce. Right now, Salesforce has since tightened security, but the incident shows how the weakest link, which is human, can break entire systems. September saw chaos at European airports when a cyber attack hit Collins Aerospace's aviation software. Check-in systems glitched, boarding gates froze, and passengers were stranded across multiple airports. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it exposed how vulnerable aviation infrastructure is, with ripple effects across travel, business, and tourism. The flight resumed after manual workarounds, but experts warn more sophisticated follow-ups could cripple air travel. And finally, Jaguar Land Rover, one of the UK's largest automakers, was forced to halt production across multiple factories after hackers targeted its supply chain. Thousands of workers were asked to go home as production lines grounded to a halt. The financial hit was huge, but bigger concern is how dependent global industries are on complex digital supply chains. Right now, investigation is still ongoing, but this is already being called one of the biggest and most expensive cyber attacks on a car manufacturer in history. And that's a wrap on the 10 biggest cyber attacks of 2025 so far. From massive bank heist to supply chain shutdowns and airport chaos, one thing is clear: cybersecurity is more critical than ever. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell, because this month of cybersecurity awareness, I've got tons of interesting videos and you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned and see you in the next one.